As the elders in Nigeria often remind us, a house divided against itself cannot stand. A proverb that captures the fragility when even the closest allies in a fight turn inward and fracture. This rings especially true in the latest twist surrounding Nnamdi Kanu, the convicted leader of the proscribed indigenous peoples of Biafra, whose legal team has effectively crumbled in court after his assigned lawyer quit, citing alleged interference and irreconcilable differences that made continued representation impossible. This is not a made-up story, as some do, because unconfirmed street news na waiting we hear with the report, but be sure say na confirm. The fallout came during a federal High Court session in Abuja on January 27, 2026, where Kanu's bid for a prison transfer from the distant Sokoto Correctional Facility was struck out, leaving him in the same remote detention amid his ongoing appeals. The courtroom drama unfolded before Justice James Omotosho when Demdoo Asan, a senior legal officer from the Legal Aid Council assigned to represent Kanu, informed the judge of his intention to withdraw from the case. Asan explained that since the last adjournment on December 8, 2025, he had maintained regular phone contact with Kanu's relatives, urging them to visit his office to provide necessary depositions for the motion. Despite repeated promises, they never showed up. More critically, Asan revealed that Kanu had attempted to dictate the conduct of the matter from custody, insisting on controlling what the liar would say in court and even wanting to script the submissions himself. As an officer of the court, bound by professional ethics, Asan stated he could not accept such direction in good faith. After consulting his superiors at the Legal Aid Council, who shared his view, he invoked the relevant court rules to formally step aside, emphasizing that the council would not compromise its independence. Justice Omotosho commended Asan for upholding the dignity of the court and promptly granted leave for both the individual counsel and the Legal Aid Council as a whole to withdraw from representing the convicted defendant. Turning to the substance of the motion, an ex parte application seeking an order to compel the federal government and the Nigerian Correctional Service to transfer Kanu from Sokoto to a facility within the court jurisdiction or at least to one nearby like Suleja or Kefi. The judge declared it incompetent. He recalled that the court had previously directed, in the interest of justice and fairness, that the motion be served on notice to the other parties so they could respond rather than proceeding ex parte. However, from the December adjournment until this January hearing, no proof of service had been presented to the court. With that procedural gap unbridged, Justice Omotosho struck out the application entirely, leaving Kanu to remain at the Sokoto facility for now. If you are keeping track of these high-stakes legal developments in Nigeria's security and separatist landscape and how they affect broader questions of justice and rights, please hit that like button right now. Share your thoughts in the comments about the challenges of legal representation in such cases and subscribe with notifications on to catch every update as this saga continues. This episode fits into the larger 10-year-long narrative of Nnamdi Kanu's legal battles, which have become a flashpoint for debates over separatism, national unity, and judicial fairness in Nigeria. Kanu, arrested initially in 2015 on charges including treasonable felony, escaped custody, was rearrested in 2021 after extradition from Kenya, and ultimately convicted in November 2025 on terrorism-related counts, receiving a life sentence. His detention in Sokoto, far from Abuja, where appeals and related motions are handled, has long been a point of contention for his supporters, who argue it hinders effective legal consultations, family access, and preparation for appeals. The transfer motion aimed to address these practical barriers, claiming it would better enable Kanu to exercise his constitutional right to fair hearing and pursue appellant remedies. Yet, procedural requirements, including proper service on respondents like the federal government and the correctional service, have proven insurmountable in this instance, compounded by the breakdown in the lawyer-client dynamic.
The lawyer's withdrawal stands out as a rare public fracture in Kanu's defense efforts. Asan detailed the communication failures with relatives and Kanu's alleged push to micromanage courtroom strategy, actions that clashed with the independence expected of counsel. This echoes earlier instances where Kanu has parted ways with private legal teams, but here the involvement of state-provided legal aid adds a layer of institutional constraint. The judge's swift approval of the withdrawal and commendation of Asan underscore the priority placed on professional integrity over continuing a strained representation. The implications are significant. Politically, it prolongs uncertainty around Kanu's appeals, potentially weakening his position as supporters view the outcome as further evidence of systemic obstacles. Socially, in the southeast where IPOB retains influence, this could intensify feelings of marginalization and injustice, sustaining tensions that manifest in protests or sit-at-home observances. Economically, ongoing instability linked to such cases disrupts commerce and investor confidence in the region. On the security side, keeping Kanu in a distant facility may be intended to limit his coordination with networks, but it risks fueling narratives that could radicalize sympathizers if perceived as punitive rather than procedural. Public reactions are already emerging along predictable lines. Supporters of Kanu and IPOB have decried the ruling as another layer of injustice, pointing to the withdrawal as symptomatic of broader challenges in securing effective representation for high-profile detainees. Others, including those who prioritize national security, may see the court's insistence on proper procedure as upholding the rule of law, preventing shortcuts in a case involving serious terrorism convictions. The defense team's reported vow to appeal the decision and pursue justice further suggests the fight will shift to higher courts, framing this as a procedural hurdle rather than a substantive defeat. Looking ahead, Kanu will likely need to secure new representation, perhaps through private counsel or another legal aid arrangement to refile or pursue alternative motions for transfer, ensuring all procedural boxes are checked, including service on respondents. If the pattern of communication breakdowns persists, it could delay appellate progress significantly. Meanwhile, the core appeals against his conviction continue, potentially reaching the Court of Appeal or Supreme Court, where issues of jurisdiction, fair trial, and evidence will be scrutinized. This episode may also prompt reflections within the judiciary and legal aid on handling sensitive cases involving self-representation tendencies or strong-willed defendants. As this latest development in Nnamdi Kanu's long-running legal odyssey shows, even the pursuit of justice can be complicated by internal divisions and strict rules. If this report has you thinking about the intricacies of high-profile trials in Nigeria, show your support. Drop a like, let me know in the comments what you make of the lawyer's withdrawal, and subscribe for more factual, in-depth analysis on stories that matter. On Confirm Street News, na wetin we hear with the report, but be sure say na confirm. Thank you for watching. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll bring you the next chapter as it unfolds. Take care.